By all means, we can finish up. I want to prepare a few examples and then we'll get started. Yeah, we usually have people coming in as we get started, so I'm going to let it. Sorry to make everyone go quiet. Yes, sir. By all means. You wanted to say something? Okay, sorry to stop everyone. Good evening, Erev Tov. Good evening, Erev Tov lekulam, to everyone, lekulam. Yeah, as tradition, we're gonna start slowly because I can hear the bells ringing, and that means we have people coming in as we get started. So yeah, but I do want to start. It is 7:02. Thank you all for being here on Zoom. We have Dr. Bloomberg, Dr. Silver, Dr. Johnson, and Stephanie, ma'am. Hello, ma'am. Good evening. In the classroom, we have myself, Max, Courtney, Phyllis, and Victor. Thank you all for being here. Erev Tov lekulam. Again, good evening to everyone. So, without us noticing it, definitely not me, time flies by. This is lesson 11 out of 12. So next week is the last lesson. I'm excited and kind of can't believe how much we progressed in the material. What we did last week is we started possessive pronouns. I'm going to continue that today. We did do a little bit of adjectives. I'm hoping I can do some adjectives today as well. But here's the thing. I made this comment last week. I'm going to make it again. Lesson 11, I'm definitely taking into consideration that I lost most of you, if not all of you by now, somewhere around lesson 4, 5, 6, 7, and up to now. That's fine. My point being is that the knowledge doesn't run away. Hebrew stays Hebrew. The whole point of having the class recorded on our synagogue YouTube and sending you the recordings and everything is that you will have the tools later to continue your learning process even when the class is done without me, even though, yeah, you can always reach out to me. But yeah, I have to follow a syllabus, so we'll have a serious class here in the synagogue, but definitely the whole point is for you to later refer. And if you're stuck somewhere, hone it down and continue from there. So I wanted to say it. I do have a debt from last class. Phyllis, ma'am, we had a word. Maybe I'll write it down real quick. There. We were talking about verbs before all of this. And we encountered a verb that we did, I think, 2 lessons ago, or last lesson, להקשיב. Let's write it down fully. Yeah, להקשיב. We have so when a verb is on its infinitive form, to listen, which is this verb, we can see the prefix to here. So this is one of those convenient ones where it directly translates from English to Hebrew and vice versa. To הקשיב, להקשיב, to listen. Now the question was, we were doing an example on the single male form. Single male listening is, maybe I'll need some more room. here. Dot on the right, making it sheen. Okay. So we know ani means me, I am. Being a male, if I say ani makshiv, which is what's written down here, the single male form of listening, to listen. I am listening, ani makshiv. Where does the mem come from, was the question. And I suspected as much last lesson that it comes from the tense of the time tense conjugation. I just didn't want to say uninformedly last week, so I went back and dived. That was the answer. Yes, ma'am. So what happens is you can still see the root of the verb, whether or not it's past, future, present, which is what we're doing in this class. But then what will change is really the add-ons that it gets, and which will signify to us either present, future, past. Makshiv, for the sake of the matter, which is the example we did last time, means listening in the present sense. In the workbook, and I said it before, but I want to say it again, what I found to be the easiest is to have a repetitive stencil when practicing verbs. You have the single male, single female, the plural of each, and the infinitive. And you do have the answers in the workbook. Does that mean there are not more? I listened, I was listened to, I will be listening. So there are more that unfortunately we don't have the time to do in this class. I am working on having a follow-up class to this in which that'll be the prime topic. Does that clear the air on that, ma'am?
Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Those are good questions. Appreciate you asking them. I am gonna erase it so I can get to the other examples. But we're talking about possessive still. And again, if I had a magical wand that would have allowed me to teach you verbs, possessive, plural, singular, all at the same time, I would. Unfortunately, alas, we do not. So these all come together. We're still kind of on the same level of sentence building. We started with a singular last week, and possessive pronouns can be found on page 52 on the workbook. And I wanted to pause here. We did the first three. My, yours, speaking to a male, and yours speaking to a female. What did I want to see here? We have the pronoun ani. We've learned it before. I, me, my, I am. And I wanted to say, last week we said, I wanted to repeat it, is that it receives the possessive pronoun sheli. We will have, for the sake of those of who weren't here with us last week, if we want to say something belongs to something, this is mine, this is yours, this is theirs, there's a separate word that we are using. Its base conjugation is this. We have dot on the right, making it a sheen. And that is the base conjugation. Reading, someone want to read it?
Yeah.
Shall. Okay. Shall, which means of. I can ask, for example, I'm going to write it here. Right here, you can still see it, I think. Some calculation of space, but we have an example here. of a question, okay? Does anyone want to try and read it? Shel mi ze. Well done, ma'am. Well done, all of you. Shel mi ze. So we said shel means of. Mi, we know from past lessons, means who. And ze is it. We know it's a pronoun that means it, which means of who is it. Okay, of who is it? Reading it literally, which I will understand is whose is it? Okay, someone left a bag in the synagogue. Whose is it? Or shel mi hatik? Who's the bag? Shel mi. Of who? Let's think of another example. I'm going to erase this shell so I can have room to write. Okay. Shel mi ha-darkon. I mean, we've used this example before, darkon. Does anyone remember what it means?
Passport.
Passport. Of who? The passport, reading it literally. Which means, who's this who belongs this passport? Who's this passport belong to? Does that make sense? Instead of passport, I can say chair, just because I can see one in front of me and it's see it on Zoom, should be. Hakiseh. Shel mi hakiseh. Who's the Shel mi hakiseh? Who's this chair? Questions about this on Zoom in the classroom? And then I can say, Sheli, it's mine. This is my passport. Hadarkon Sheli, mine. Now, I do want to say adding a word, adding the shell with its fancy conjugations is kind of one of the most basic possessive acknowledging ways to acknowledge possession. I wrote down an example here. Some of you may know it. I think Kara definitely should know it. Does anyone want to try reading it? Ach sheli. Well done, ma'am. Do you remember what it means, Max? Ach means brother or male nurse. It can mean male nurse, but I'll definitely need context. But yeah, brother. Sheli means mine, brother of mine. What am I writing here? Does anyone want to try and read now? Think you can, Max? Achi, well done. Achi. So Achi means also brother of mine. What happened between these two combinations? We just dropped the shell and kept its yud. So like this, and added the sound, of course, in the form of the nikud. But what I'm trying to say is, and there are more examples, I'll get to another one in a few moments. This is one of those that I had to teach you the shell first in order to get to here. I do want to say the more common one in Israel is the adding the shell. Barring specific things that we are used to doing it in the old way. Biblical Hebrew, you always see these. You always see that the word in itself also carries the possession in it. Achi carries the possession in it. We just dropped the excess word. So in the Bible, this happens a lot. In modern Hebrew, it happens on stuff that's stuck, like achi, brother of mine, bro. So this would be the equivalent to bro. I'm going to erase the top and write another example. Oh, and by the way, we did also say that Shelley, which means mine, that's the name, that's the meaning of the name. If someone's named Shelley, that's what it means, mine. In Hebrew, at least. Okay, so that's the very flat mine. And then we did the yours, speaking to a male and speaking to a female. I'm going to write it down real quick with the pronoun. Dot on the right. Can I erase the bro line? And I'm going to erase the bottom as well. Right again. So we're still in possessive pronouns. We have these two pronouns here. And the reason I have the pronoun next to it is because the pronoun from a few lessons ago will serve as the baseline for the sound, and we will see it more as the lesson goes on. Definitely on the plural. So we have ata, which addressing a male. Ata Max, you are Max. Ata Matani, yeah, you're Matani. And I did say Matani is also possessive. It's derived from the word matan, which means gift. Matani makes it my gift from Chile, just apropos. So ata, addressing a male. And in possessive pronouns, yours and your male becomes shelcha. Shelcha. We have the shin, 3 dots, making it a she. Lamed with the 2 dots, meaning no vowel, meaning shel. And then we have the chaf. I try to exaggerate it so you understand, but this is the final chaf with the kamatz, making it shelcha. And it follows the ata sound. This one is one of the lesser obvious ones, but sure. Example being, hakise, that chair. Hakise shelcha. Is this your chair? Hakise shelcha. Let's write it down. Same example could be hadarkon shelcha. We have the prefix ha, which means the. Kise, we've spoken about that example before. Kise, which means chair. Kise. Ha kise, that chair. Shelcha. Ha kise, shelcha. The chair is yours, which we understand speaking English. Is this your chair? Again, the chair is one example. Hadarkon shelcha, the passport is yours. Ken, hadarkon sheli. Lo, hadarkon lo sheli. Not mine. What else? Other example. Which of course brings us to the other pronoun, addressing same way, a single person, in this case, female. Does anyone want to try and read it? At. Yes, ma'am. Well done. So I tried to take out useless emphases. This one I left because yeah, you need to hear it at. But yeah, it's with a no vowel, so it's kind of a at. So that's addressing a single female, right? At Courtney, at Phyllis, you are Courtney, you are Phyllis. At Kara, you are Kara. At Stephanie, you are Stephanie. Okay, so what does addressing a female at beget? Shelach. And in this case, we can actually see it's almost like a stencil of the vowels. Kamatz followed with the no vowels. At shelach. Shelach. So for example, I can do the same example, just change the vowels. So this will be the same example. Ha kiseh, the chair. Shelach, yours. The chair of yours. Which I understand in English being a question, is this your chair?
You want to say, as a declarative sentence, the chair is yours. Would it be any different? That, get rid of the question mark and it's a statement.
Yes, ma'am.
That's what I thought. Okay.
So I don't know if you heard it on Zoom. Phyllis asked if you want to make a direct statement, the chair is yours. It's perfectly fine to just drop the question mark and it will mean the chair is yours. Yes, ma'am. And again, we can see how tone of voice definitely matters, right? A question, you can hear when someone asks a question versus a statement, but good comment. Thank you, ma'am. I do want to do something with these two examples. So I'm addressing a person, right? I'm going to erase this so I can have room. But in essence, we're still addressing a person who's alone. It can be either male or female. And I want to use a greeting. I want to teach you a greeting that I'm sure some of you may have heard before. I'm going to write it down. Dot on the right. Quad exercise. Who read it? How did you read it then?
Mashlomcha.
Yes, ma'am. Well done. That was perfect enunciation. Mashlomcha. So we know ma is a question word, which means what. Now, if I just pause here, shlom, it sounds familiar, right? This sounds familiar. Shlom. It's derived from the word shalom. What does shlomcha mean? Your peace. It's so the same thing happens here as when we said my brother, bro. Shalom gets a possessive element to it. So it doesn't get the full shelcha, but rather just the end, shlomcha. And we see the pattern of vowels here. And I just said a few moments ago, we don't really use that nowadays, except specific examples. This is one of those. Now we know shalom means either hello or peace. So when I ask you, what is your peace, in essence? Ma shlomcha. It's almost like, it's like asking someone, how is your peace? Like, how are you? So when I hear someone asking me, being a single male, ma shlomcha, it's like saying, how are you? Or what's up? So I'm going to transliterate this one. It's an important one. Ma shlomcha. And we can see shalom is tensed, and we can have the ending shel of that signals to us possessive. I will say, if we want to ask the same thing for female, what I'll do is I'll just change the vowels here. Same way. Ma shlomech. Shlomech. So I'm gonna. So same thing, it begets a possessive element to it. In this occasion, the vowels did not fully transition from the shelach, yours, to shlomech, your peace. It's never perfect, but we can see it here at the end with the ending chaf with the two dots. Ma shlomech, which is the same thing. How is your peace? What is your peace? How are you? Just speaking to a female. Okay, so if I'm asking you, Phyllis, ma'am, ma shlomech, so it'll be how are you? You can say hakol tov, everything's fine. If I'm asking Max, since he's a single male, ma shlomcha, how are you? Again, you can say hakol tov, everything's fine. Hakol beseder, everything's in order. Or not, hopefully never. Any questions about this so far? This is a very common greeting in Israel. Also, ma nishma, what is heard. Ma kore, what is happening. But yeah, this one probably predates those two. If there are no questions, on my own times, yeah, I definitely need to move on. Nothing on Zoom. I'm gonna erase the board and continue to our other possessive pronouns. Does anyone remember what these pronouns mean? Start with the first. Anyone want to read it?
Who?
Who? Yes, ma'am. Which means he, or he is. Maybe I should just write it down below it because these ones are confusing. Him. And the next one?
He.
He. Well done, ma'am. Which means her. Yeah. Remember that we had a a tongue twister here. So, right here. Or her. Okay, she is, or her, he is, or him. Now, so second body, we're talking about person. I can either male or female. How do we say his or her or hers? Let's find out. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Well, yes, ma'am. Even better. Shelo. Shelo. Yes, ma'am. I'm gonna transliterate. Shelo. And this is one, since it ends in an O, you want to be careful of not saying shelo. It's shelo, which means his. Okay, possessive pronoun that goes to him, second body, his. I can say Shelmi hadarkon, whose passport is it? Oh, hadarkon shelo. It's his passport. He just went to the bathroom. Hadarkon shelo. Hu basherutim. He's in the bathroom. I can also say hadarkon shel Abba sheli. My dad's. I'm going to do examples in a moment. But in essence, his, shelo. In this case, we don't see a transfer of vowels. Unfortunately, alas, we will see it with the others. He and she are kind of tricky, unfortunately. Tongue twister and no vowel transition. But who begets shelo? He, she, or her begets shela. Shela. Let's write it down. Shela, which means hers. So I can ask again, shel mi hadarkon, whose passport is it? And I can say hadarkon. Hadarkon shela, the passport is hers. And again, I don't know why I got stuck on passport, just because it's first in my mind. We can change passport for any other noun, and it still mean hers. Shela. Hakise shela, her chair. What else? We'll do more. Hadarkon shela, her passport. Can I erase it up and I'm gonna do another example. Dot on the right. Can I erase the second line here? Erase this bottom thing. Definitely try reading in your head already. These are things we did already, so no surprises. Okay. So we have this sentence here, and mind you, it's a sentence. Anyone want to try and read it? Let's do this one together. Hatisa.
Hatisa שלו
Yes, sir.
ביום
Biyom, yes, sir. And then we have the two dots here.
Yeah, that's right. Shalai,
Shlishi.
Shili.
Okay, so let's stop here. I did put a dot here. Let's stop here. Well done, though, sir. Really good progress, sir. I'm actually surprised to the positive. Hatisa, we have the prefix. Hatisa. Does anyone remember what tisa means? Flight. Okay, tisa means flight, not in the sense of me flying like Superman, but the flight scheduled at an airport. Hatisa shelo, and we just did this. This is a possessive pronoun. Beyom, this is a prefix. Yom, we should know what it is. And shlishi. Okay, so the flight of his, okay, shelo, we said it's his. Beyom, in or at day third. Day third. Yom shlishi, the third day, which means Tuesday, right? Again, hatisa, the flight, shelo, of his. Beyom, on or at day third. Shlishi comes from the word shalosh, which means three. So day third, Tuesday. So his flight is on Tuesday. Okay. Dot. Does anyone want to keep reading? Revi'i, yes, sir. Revi'i, yes, sir. So we have his flight is on Tuesday, period. Shela, maybe I should have done like a comma here. Shela, hers. Shela, hers. Beyom Revi'i. So his flight is on Tuesday. Hers is on which day? Wednesday. Okay, Yom Revi'i, the fourth day. So Hatisa shelo b'yom shlishi. שלה ביום רביעי. Okay, again, הטיסה שלו ביום שלישי, שלה ביום רביעי, which means his flight is on Tuesday, hers is on Wednesday. Okay? I'm gonna need to erase the board in order to transliterate. Was that understood on Zoom, especially in the classroom? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I do want to do another example. Can I erase the top here? Okay. I'm gonna erase just the top so I can do another example. Can I now erase the second row? Okay. So I'm going to use this example for a few moments and then continue on. Does anyone want to try reading? Yes, ma'am. הכרטיס, the ticket.
Shel Abba.
Well done, ma'am.
Oh, there's another word there.
כן,
Sheli.
כן. הכרטיס של אבא שלי. Okay. הכרטיס, we can see the prefix the. כרטיס means ticket, ticket. The ticket. What does shell mean? Of, without just a generic of. What does Abba mean? Father. What does sheli mean? Mine. So the ticket of father mine, which means the ticket is my dad's, right? So we have two shells here, a generic shell and sheli, which means mine. So in essence, two possessives here. The first relates to the ticket. The ticket is my dad's. And my dad's is mine, right? Let's write it there. Let's do it something more interesting. What happens now? הכרטיס של אבא, שלה. Well done, sir. שלה, which means the ticket of her dad's, of her dad's. So again, the ticket belongs to the dad. Whose dad is it? In this occasion, hers, שלה. I can also say shel ima, shela, shel ach, shela, and all the family tree. I will translate it real quick and transliterate. The ticket of her dad's, I think, is the closest I can bring it to English. But remember, we did say not everything directly translates into English and vice versa. And we are aware of it. Man. Gonna change my chalk here real quick while you guys are writing. Kind of out of the yellow ones. Yeah, so I did. Yeah, I don't want to trouble you, ma'am. It's fine. I kind of used the yellow ones there too.
All right.
And these I actually like these ones because they have this curve here. I'm gonna try this one. It's an orange one. Let's see if it works. Another optional. Can I raise the top? Okay, awesome. Okay, so those were up to now. We did possessive pronouns on the singular level. I am now moving on to the plural level. I erased the entire board here. Can you see this well on Zoom?
The very top of your board is cut off on my screen, but I can see the top of those letters.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Jason. Know what happened there. Okay, so we have three more pronouns here. And again, I said the pronouns serve as a baseline for the sound for the most part, as we've seen. These are the plural pronouns. Sorry. We should know this one by heart. Does anyone want to read this one? Anachnu, which means we are, us. How do we say is something is ours? This is ours. This is a bit knesset, our bit knesset, right? I was about to give it up. But again, we said shell will be the base, and then we conjugate it. What? Anyone want to try and read this? Shelanu, well done, sir. Anachnu begets shelanu. Okay, ours. We can see the shell still in its skeleton, conjugated, it gets the new. Shelanu. Which means ours. Okay. Ours, shelanu. Moving on, because I want to do the examples all together. Does anyone remember how to read this? Hem, well done, ma'am. Hem, which means they are speaking to a group of males or both. Again, this is where the second one is for plural females, but if you remember, I always say Israelis mix these up a lot. It's okay if we do as well. Him, which means they are. What do they get? We will still have the skeleton shell. See how did I valid? Yeah. Does anyone want to try and read it? Yes, sir. Shelahim. Easy one. The same, just the pronoun moved to the end of the shell, of the of. Shelahim. Okay, theirs. Shelahim, theirs. Okay. And surprise, surprise, the last one, hen. We said they or they are, except speaking to females. Hen, like a chicken, hen, which begets. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Let's make sure I'm following right. Shelahen. Okay. So again, we see the shell, and it begets the addition, hen, shelahen. There's same thing, except this time we're speaking about something that belongs to a group of females. I'm gonna erase the top and give us examples. Um, All right, awesome calculation of space. I think you should still see it here. Okay. So I wrote down a short example, just one sentence. Does anyone want to try and read it?
Hatisa.
Yes, ma'am.
Shalanu. What's? Thank you.
Okay, I'll write this better. I ran out of room and I was trying to be ambitious. But well done so far. Hatisa Shelanu. Our flight. Can I erase the second row here? Oh. No. Okay, now, okay, הטיסה שלנו בבוקר, sorry, those are 3 dots. Sorry, definitely next year gonna try and do the whiteboard. בבוקר, well done, ma'am. הטיסה שלנו בבוקר. Okay, we know that hatisa means the flight. We just did shelanu, which means ours, the flight of ours. Boker. Does anyone remember what that means? In the morning. Yes, ma'am. We have the prefix ba in boker, morning. Our flight is in the morning. Let's write it down. So it's actually, next week I'll just say the other side. Again, hatisa shelanu baboker, our flight is in the morning. And we can see shelanu, again, us, we are, begets shelanu, ours. Let's try a different attempt at this example. Now what are we saying? Their flight is in the morning. Now again, if I put, instead of the final mem, if I put just the final noon, it still means their flight is in the morning, except now it's female. Well done, ma'am. Ma'ams. Sorry, sir?
Where is the, it's in there? There.
Here. So this, this mental note, maybe I should do the next year, I should do the prefixes better. If you can see here, sir, we have the word morning and the prefix in. And this is on me, maybe I wasn't as clear enough when I did the single letter prefixes. The difference between, if I did this, okay, instead of this, be boker, it would have been in a morning, just any morning, okay? Versus ba boker, it's in the morning, just, morning is, it's implied that we understand which morning we're both talking about. Was that understood now, sir? Okay. Yeah, no, mental note is definitely to do this better. Forgive me, that's on me, sir. Did that clear it out for anyone else here? Okay, awesome. On Zoom, was that clear? Now I can play around with this.
Yes.
Thank you, Jason. I can play around with this. I can say, let's mop up the example. I'm gonna erase the bottom here. Dot on the left, making it a S. Sorry, bad calculation of space. These two examples should complement each other. Does anyone want to try and read this example? Hayeladot, yes, ma'am.
Cna'anee,
Yes, ma'am.
Sot.
Yes, ma'am.
Sa.
So those are two dots here. Sorry. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Well done. You read well done. You read awesome, ma'am. הילדות שלנו טסות לישראל, which means the girls or the daughters in this context can be of ours are flying, and this is a conjugation of tisa, as you can see, and we can hear the ending ot, which tells us it's females. We're flying to where? To Israel. And then we can say their flight is in the morning. Hatisa shelem baboker. We're in the morning of Yom Shlishi, Tuesday, Wednesday. So the point of this example here is to show you that it builds up upon itself. Does that make sense? הילדות שלנו טסות לישראל. The girls of ours, which can mean our daughters, are flying to Israel. Let's see if I have room to. I'm gonna erase this translation here so I can translate. Our girls are flying to Israel. Again, hayeladot, we can see the prefix here. Ha-yeladot, and we can hear ot at the end, making it girls of ours, which we can understand as daughters. Tasot, flying, le-Israel. Again, ending ot. If it was tasim, I would have had a mistake here because I'm talking about girls. Okay? Would it matter? Probably not, because people will understand. So just to point out what I mean. Okay, we're talking about girls, plural. If I pluralize the verb flying in a male way, הילדות שלנו טסים לישראל. Speaking Hebrew as a native Hebrew speaker, I'm immediately, something's wrong here. Because the pluralization is in the male way. Sometimes it gets into the meaning of the sentence. This is a good example because I'm trying to be specific here, right? I'm trying to talk about girls, not a group of both. And this is definitely one example of where Israelis will get it wrong. Tasim, tasot, they'll mix up the sounds. Definitely the verbs and sometimes and definitely shelahen, shelahem. Definitely. This one, Israelis will forever mix it up. The shelahen versus shelahem. So yeah. Any questions so far? In the classroom, on Zoom? Awesome. Let's see, how am I doing on times? It's 8 and 10 minutes. I'm going to erase the board, and I don't really have much time to get into. Our next topic is the last one on the syllabus, the particle et, which I dread and is my nemesis because, and you may notice on pages 56, 57, where I try to explain particle et, that's probably the most extensive explanation here in the workbook because it doesn't exist in English, and that's always the hardest one to catch, which is why I saved it for last. So yeah, 20 minutes is not enough for me to start it. What I do want to do is practice some adjectives and some of this more, the possessive and verbs. And again, as you can see, I do not have enough time to do all the verbs, definitely not the verbs. Not even on the workbook, I didn't want to make the workbook 100 pages. I could have easily just added verbs for you to practice and make it 100 pages. I figured, yeah, let's opt out of it. But this is definitely where the work at home, not homework, but rather work at home becomes important. Definitely listening to the music, listening to the movies and series, the sounds repeat. And it's probably more important than coming here. Yeah.
Board has had it.
Yes, yes, ma'am. The back side looks better. Next time I'll try this side. dot on the right. Okay. There's a comma here. Let's do it together. I'm going to start here. Aleph with a patach. We have the chet with a dot underneath, you carrying the sound. Uttered, achi, achi. We just said earlier ago, it means like brother of mine, short for bro. Achi. Next, we have bet, emphasis in the middle, two dots, making it a be, final noon, making it a ben, ben, okay? Sheen, dot on the right, making it a sh, patach, making it a sha. We have lamed with the vav and the cholam, the dot over it, making it sha, lo, and shalosh, shalosh. Shalosh. That's a number. Comma. Pronoun. Who. Does anyone want to try and read this? Sa'ir. Sa'ir. Well done, sir. So I wanted to use this example, this adjective, this one here, last word, because we don't really use tzaddik that much. But what are we saying in essence? Achi ben shalosh, hu sa'ir, which means in English, my brother is the son of three, which means Ben is son of, or in this sense, we understand it as 3 years old. Ben shalosh, it's not necessarily son of three, it's 3 years old. I'm gonna write that one down to make sure there's a different translation that I'm forgetting. But if I'm Ben shalosh, ani ben shalosh, I am 3. In this sense, achi ben shalosh, my brother is 3. Who, he or he is, sa'ir, sa'ir, which means young. He is young. My brother is 3. He is young. I'm gonna write it down, transliterate as well. And yeah, so Ben literally means son. And so whoever is called Ben means he's called son. And we know that Ein is a throaty aleph. So in the transliteration, what I try to do is put this apostrophe here. Achi ben shalosh. Shalosh means 3. Yom shlishi, the third day, is a derivative of shalosh. Yom shlishi, but in this case 3. Achi ben shalosh, my brother is 3. Achi ben
Steph, did we all lose the feed from the synagogue?
Here we go. He's coming back in. Yeah, I let him know.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sorry, yeah, laptop turned off. Again, my brother is 3 years old. He is young. Okay, Tsa'ir means young. Which brings me to my next example. I'm gonna pin myself to here. Tsa'ir, young, Tsa'ir, young. Achi, ben shalosh, hu Tsa'ir. My brother is 3, he is young. Can I erase the board?
I'm having trouble figuring out where the word my is.
Where the word, which word, sorry, man?
It's in my brother.
So, this is where the magic happens, ma'am. Achi, if you remember earlier in the class, we said ach means brother or male nurse. And when so that was a good question, ma'am. I'm gonna give us the answer just for the sake of everyone. If you remember, we said ach just on its own means either brother or male nurse. Achi, it's like a short of ach sheli, which means brother of mine, my brother. Thank you, ma'am. Can I erase now?
Matani,
Yes, erase now?
so, we lost you for a minute or two. I just want to make sure that we've covered what was covered while you were offline.
Yeah, basically I just read it for another time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. I can also say another example of this would be what's written down here. Does anyone want to read it? Avi. Avi is the same thing that's happening with Achi, except it's Abba with Sheli. So Abba, Sheli, my dad. Avi. Avi means my dad. Same thing, like Achi means my brother. Avi means my dad. Except it makes the sentence illogical because my dad cannot be 3 and he's not young. And the same thing, just for the sake of saying it, we do have moms as well and sisters. Imi. Down. Imi. I did try to little bit that here. Imi. You have the aleph with a dot, mem with a dot, and the yud. Imi. Short for mother of mine. Ima, sheli, imi. And you have all of the other family members in the vocabulary building in the workbook. But yeah, this we usually don't say avi, imi in this sense. We will use it in the sense of avi, like the name. You don't see imi that much. What I'm trying to say is that we will say ima sheli, abba sheli. Specifically with brother, it's kind of got stuck in the lingo to say achi, which is bro, kind of, or brother of mine. But yeah, then the context needs to change. How long do I have? I do have a few minutes. Let's do another
I have one
example.
more question on that sentence.
Yes, ma'am?
N means son, right? We're saying my brother is 3. Why the word son?
Sorry, say that again, ma'am? Ask that again?
Translating that, my brother is 3. He was young. Right. So where does the word son come into that sentence?
Okay. So there is no son here in that one example. I did want to say that Ben can mean old, how old are you? But also Ben can mean son or son of. Ben Sheli, for example, means my son. Where does the problem come from? That Ben is also used to describe your age, not just
Oh,
okay. So a person who's called Ben is yeah, that's son. If I'm asking you how old are you, and you say Ben Shalosh in this example, you're 3 years old. Does it sounds better in biblical Hebrew, like son of three. I'm not getting the derivation where it's derived from best. I did write it down so I can tell you better, but it's one of those biblical, definitely biblical contexted words.
it's Ben.
Yes, ma'am. Well done. So, you see? How do we say grandpa, for example? Does anyone remember? Or no? I think I didn't say, but it was in the book somewhere. Setting up? Saba, yes, ma'am. Saba. Let's say Saba Shali, my grandfather. Ben, let's just for the sake of now, I don't think I have much time. Just write 90. He's not young, he is old. How do I say old? I'm gonna write it down now. Who? He is Zaken. Yes, ma'am. Zaken. He is old. Saba Shali Ben Tish'im 90. Who? Zaken. He is old. Zaken means old. Sorry, sir?
No, years old, right?
Yeah, yes, sir. I can also say, instead of Saba Sheli, my grandfather, I can say sorry, a lot of space. Savi, Savi. Saba Sheli will become Savi. Again, we don't really use it. Savi, it sounds very academic. We don't speak like that day to day. We will say Saba Sheli, but Savi works as well. Unfortunately, it's 8:26. I'm gonna transliterate and let's summarize.
Matani,
Yes, Jason?
in modern Hebrew in Israel, does Yiddish creep in at all?
Yes, actually, very much so. I'll give you an example.
Well, what made me think of it was talking about grandfather, or grandparent, Bubby and Zadie. And I didn't know if that's commonly used by people outside of Yiddish speaking, generally Yiddish speaking communities.
Specifically, those are kind of used only by the Orthodox, but there are a lot of words that seeped into slang even that even normal Israelis use every day. I'll give you an example in a moment. I just want to make sure that I'm transliterating this. Who's the fan? Who's the can? A word that seeped into modern day. Sorry, ma'am. I'm gonna write it down here. maybe you know this word. It's called tachlis. Tachlis. I'm gonna write it down here. And it's two versions. Okay. So I wrote down a word and it's two versions. One is Yiddish, one is just Hebrew. Here. I'm gonna do it with you. We have the taf with the patach, paf with the two dots, no emphasis, making it a ch, lamed with a yud and the dot, ending in the taf. I would read it as tachlit, which means purpose or that which we are here for. What is the purpose? Okay, what is the goal? When Yiddishized, I don't know if that's a word. Remember we said the taf in the Yiddish accent becomes an S in the Ashkenazi accent. So what happened here is that it becomes tachlis. And this specific word is very much ingrained in modern day Hebrew because let's give an example. Someone will speak a lot like I am. Okay, tachlis, get to the point. Does that make sense, Jason? Did you hear all that?
Ken.
Awesome. I am out of time. I will summarize real quick with your permission. Forgive me for going over. But as you can see, even if I dive into one example, it takes me a while just to explain it thoroughly. This is where your work at home is crucial. And again, this class is very small in one's learning of Hebrew journey. Your journey is bigger than this class. What I'm trying to do in this class is to give you tools to ease your learning and make it faster for the future, which is why I emphasize the stuff that repeat, im, ot, sheli, and even though I try, again, I don't have the time to do it well enough and do everything. I am going to refer to the presentation real quick. I'm going to share screen. Oop. Can I, Stephanie, ma'am, it says I'm not. Okay, thank you. That knows what she's doing, man, Stephanie, ma'am. Let's see. So what I did here in the presentations, you have all of the explanation, all of the sheli, shelcha, shelach, shelo, shela, shelanu, shelahem, shelahen, followed by the pronouns. So again, use the pronouns as the baseline for the sounds. Does it always? As we see, not exactly, but most always. And again, now we already know, we've been doing it a while. We kind of have a stencil, single male, single female, plural of each. And we're kind of trying to add now the possessions, infinitives, adjectives, and everything we've been learning so far is building on itself. Again, practice is what enables us to do so. So whoever did not reach to page 55 to now, definitely reach to page 55 to now. For next lesson, read, in our last lesson, read pages 56 and 57. That's the explanation about the particle et. I already know I am going to struggle explaining it, which is why I am having you read the explanation beforehand. But in essence, the last class is next week. I'm going to stop sharing here. And what I would love for you to see and practice at home is that what we've been learning so far and all of the syllabus that we've reached so far builds on itself. And by now we can say a very impressive sentences that will enable us to survive in Israel and then some. Let's see if I'm forgetting anything. No. thank you all. Sorry for being over. I'm still here, going to organize the class as always. If anyone needs me, by all means. Other than that, thank you all for being here this evening. Toda rabba lekulam. Thank you very much to everyone. Erev tov lekulam. Good evening to everyone.
Matani, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Silver. So, toda. Toda. So that's like thanks, a thanking. It's
Toda rabba, Matani.
toda rabba lecha, Jason.